in the face of questions, I have to think about things, right?
Sure.
But by myself,
in the moment,
yeah. And by myself, I can get super cynical. I can get super distracted, and so I definitely don't have enough of those times, and a lot of distractions for sure.
Hey, welcome back to another ChiaTalks. You are watching part 2 of the Momentum interview that I did with Jonathan Yang not too long ago. If you have not yet watched part 1 of this interview, remember to refer back to that before continuing with this one. And I will leave a link down below for that video in the descriptions, or you could just click one of the cards up here in this corner right here. And if this is your first time here, welcome to ChiaTalks, and consider subscribing to my channel if you find value in my videos. I upload videos just like this every week, mostly on Tuesdays and Fridays, so you can definitely look forward to that. So in part 2 of this interview, he shares a little bit more about how Momentum came about. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this interview. Remember to take notes, open up your ears, because he's going to share a lot of good insight that I believe you're going to find value in them. So enjoy.
So I saw that the 19-year-old freshman, the 25-year-old, freelancer, there were things that no one was trying to help them out with, right? And there's a lot of great things for like our parents, right? And a lot of services for them. But for these young people, I thought, well, I'm young. I know what it's like to be young, and so let me try to help them out. So it started with young people, and I think that's going to be what's going to be the driving force, is just helping young people kind of navigate the world.
Okay, so when you mean young, you're meaning like 30 and under, 35 and under? Is
yeah,
age, or like singles only?
I will say it this way. People ask me that question a lot. I think, if you identify as young, then you're young. I'm not going to put an age cap, but I think, again, it's, generally speaking, it's going to be second generation and on, right? Okay. The Hmong American census came out, I think, 2016, and something like this, the average age of Hmong Americans is like in their 20s. It's ridiculously young, right? So looking forward, in 10, 20 years, it's just going to be second, third generation Hmong Americans, right? And everybody, the whole world will take the phones and all this stuff for granted, right? And so what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to build the infrastructure so that Hmong professionals will know how to navigate this new digital world. That's what I'm trying to do. So
you believe that even though right now with everybody having a smartphone and all these technology like at their footstool, they're not taking a full advantage of it. Exactly. That's what you're trying to say.
That's exactly right. Yeah.
That's interesting. Okay. So now Momentum has shifted more towards that.
Yeah, I mean, Momentum, like I said, it has always been about the internet. It has always been about digital media, social media. It has always been about trying to show people, look, there's a whole digital universe now, right, that's particularly business owners and content creators and nonprofits are not taking advantage of, right? So it's always been about kind of educating people about that. And it's not necessarily, I want to say, this might help people out, it's not necessarily about higher education, right? So Momentum is not about, I think it's great people should go to college, right? It's not about telling people to go to college, right? It's not telling people to be a doctor or a lawyer, right? It's simply saying, hey, there's this gigantic thing called the internet, and you should pay attention to it. And here are some tools and tricks and tips that will be useful for you in your industry or whatever you're doing.
Well, since you're bringing that up, how do you feel about people going to school and people not going to school?
I have no hard feelings about it. I think I obviously went to college, right? So I think I think for the most part it's good. But here's the thing that I think is completely false, right? It's not true that you need a college education to be successful or to do what you want. Like, that's just empirically false, right? Yeah. I did not need to go to college to do what I'm doing, right? Yeah. It helped, It's a great opportunity to meet people. It's a fantastic opportunity to take 4 or 5 years and just dig deep into questions that, if you're working, you don't have the time to, right? So I think it's a fantastic opportunity, but it's in no way a requirement to be successful.
Yeah, I know, because a lot of times I'll talk to my parents. I remember in the early days, they used to always drill us about going to school. Yeah. Like, you gotta go to school, Chia. If you don't go to school, you're just gonna be like another person that's working at the factory. Yeah. You gotta go to school and get your education. And I think during that time, going to school was really good. We're in the information age now, to where going to school necessarily doesn't mean you're going to be successful, guaranteed. It's not going to be like that no more, Some of the most successful people, like Mark Zuckerberg, who came out of Facebook, dropped out.
Steve Jobs,
Bill Gates, they all, you know, like these guys are like successful people. They never finished school, you know. So like I think right there is where a lot of times when I'll talk to my mom, she'll still bring that up. Like she'll still go to my younger siblings and be like, go to school. It's like, Mom, we're not in that day and age anymore. During that time, it's great, but then like, what if they go to school and they got $100,000 in debt and then they don't have a job? What are you gonna do now? You're gonna pay that loan for them? You know what I mean? Like, and that's so many students that I'm talking to right now. There's so many people I know that went to college for like their BA and all that, and they're not even working in the field. And they're working a normal job like an In-N-Out or something, and they're still paying their school loans. You know what I mean? So I see a lot of that going on. So I think momentum is going to be huge because a lot of those people that are afraid to rock the boat are the same people that are going to school. And they're going back to school, they're dropping out, and then they're going back to school, dropping out, going back to school. Next thing you know, they look at their bill and they owe all this money. You know?
No, I'm a personal example of that. I mean, I have a lot of debt, a very, very big debt, and so. But I will say this, right? I mean, I will encourage people. They can have both, right? In the sense that if they want to go to college, great, go to college. But what I encourage college students is, look, did you go to college?
I did.
Oh, you did, right?
Well, not really. It was more of a vocational school.
Okay. So most people at like UC Davis, where I go to, or any four-year university, or even state college like Sac State or Fresno State or whatever, if students are honest with themselves, and I know this because it's true, they have a lot of time even outside of studying, right? I encourage every student to start a business, make a lot of failures, right? That's the best time to make crazy moves, you know?
For sure.
If I were to do college all over again, I'd go to class. I kind of do what I need to get by, right? So mom and dad are happy, and I ended up with a degree still. But with that time, man, I would have started so many businesses. I would have done so many things, you know. And it's the best time to do it because here's sort of a cool practical thing: is even if you start a business and it fails, nobody cares.
Right.
No one's gonna care that you're 18 and you started an e-commerce business selling T-shirts and you only made $100 your first year.
Right.
That's just more experience for you, right? But if anything, it looks better, right? And so I think that going to college is not necessarily going to exclude you from these things. I think college is the best time to do crazy things, you know, because people are not expecting anything of you. No one expects college students to contribute to the world. They just go to school and study, right? And so you don't have a lot to lose, you know. So if you are in college, take a lot of risks. Before you get married and have kids and actually have, you know, things to lose. College student has almost nothing to lose, and I think they should just be crazy,
take advantage of their youth, energy, everything,
and not with the stupid things, but with the you know, build a business. I think
so. Because you do momentum full time, when you say full time, you're talking about 7 days a week, like 24/7.
Well, yeah, full time. I say full time is. I mean, I don't have it's my 9 to 5 or more than that. You know, so it's. I mean, the best way to look at it is I'm an entrepreneur full time right now, and I just do a whole bunch of different things, right? I mean, Momentum is
just another avenue.
Yeah, it's sort of the brand that I'm trying to build, but really the thing that drives me is the thing I said earlier about why not, right? So I have that night market that I'm going to do in Fresno called H-Fest, right here, H-Fest, right? That's just something that I wanted to do, right? So, you know, there are opportunities that come up where I just say, hey, I want to do that. Why not do it, you know? There are other opportunities right now that I haven't yet made public yet that I'm just sort of, you know, I have this, I'm in the unique area of my life where I don't have a 9 to 5 to constrain me, so I can just kind of try out all these different projects and see what really, like, I'm still exploring, you know, so I don't want people to get the idea that I have everything figured out, you know, I'm just in testing mode.
I don't think an entrepreneur will ever like arrive. Will ever have everything figured out, because I think when you tell yourself that you've arrived, you've got it all figured out, then you're basically telling yourself you stopped growing. Right? Like you're putting a cap on your lid. You're basically saying, oh, I'm good. I know everything. I've been through every experience. I don't need to grow anymore. So I think that's like impossible for an entrepreneur, because an entrepreneur is always looking to change, looking to become better. Like, how do I like become a multi-site, you know, little things. But right now you're starting local, but I'm pretty sure later down the road you might want to be like in Minnesota, Florida, New York, everywhere. You know what I mean? So like it doesn't stop here. Now, because you do this full time, like, do you have any other hobbies besides this? Like, what do you do that doesn't involve momentum?
Like I said, I mean, really the two things that take up my life is momentum and then my church, right? And then obviously my family, my wife, you know, and I mean, I don't. Most of my family, all my immediate family, they're in Fresno or elsewhere, you know, so they don't live here in Sacramento. My in-laws live in Sacramento, but still, me and my wife live in Davis, right? You know, so there is a sense of independence in which our week to week, day to day, you know, it's my wife's a full-time student still, and I'm doing this, and so we have a lot of independence in terms of what we do. So a lot of my free time is really kind of taken up by momentum or exploring new things or doing things with my church. Yeah, so that's really my life. That's really my life. I don't do much. I don't go out. I don't actually drink, so I don't drink. I don't go to clubs or party or things. I mean, a long time ago I did, but I just practically I don't have the time, and it's just not things that I do. So there's just not a lot of. I don't do a lot of leisure things, you know. I'm always constantly thinking about what I want to do next, you know, and I'm always constantly analyzing problems and trying to figure out how to solve problems.
You don't think that even as an individual, you need time for yourself?
Oh, definitely. I think you should. I think you do, you know, and I think that's one thing that, you know, one thing that I think as an entrepreneur we need to be disciplined about, and I'm not that disciplined, which is having, you know, rest time. You know, I think that's important, right?
For sure.
And I think they're clearly entrepreneurs can burn out or, you know, hit depression, you know, because they're just not taking care of themselves, you know, so
that's true.
I think that's a real thing, and I haven't yet figured it out, you know. So
I heard this like just the other day from this YouTuber that I watched, and he said I used to always hear that do what you love, and turn that into a career. And then once I did that, I lost my passion for it, and I kept doing something else that I love, turning into a business, and I lost the passion for it. So instead of doing what I love, you know, I'm just gonna turn it into a business. I'm just gonna do what I love, but I'm not gonna turn it into a business. I think a lot of times, you know, because the reason why I'm asking you this is because I think that when we do something that we love too much and we just want to focus on it, we forget about why we do it. We lose that focus of, man, I did it because of the young adults. But then now I'm not even talking to any young adults. You know what I mean? Little things like that, just for example.
Exactly.
So I think that me time that I was referring to is really important because it lets you reflect and it lets you have that space to where you're realigning your goals, right? And you're checking yourself, checking your heart. That, okay, am I doing this for the right reasons? Is this aligning back to my vision and my goals?
Yeah. Fantastic point. I agree with everything you said. That's exactly right. I'll be the first to admit that, in the 2 years that I've been doing this, there are many times where I get distracted because, like you said, and I don't know if it's true about the person you mentioned, but when I focus on my passions and I try to make a living out of it, the first thing that anyone's gonna have to worry about are just the practical things, right? You know, finances and money. Is this gonna, like you said, how to pay the bills, right? And once those things come into the picture, then right, that's usually the biggest thing that's gonna distract me from doing the thing that you started, right? Sure. Impacting the people, right? And so then you know, your decisions are driven by, okay, and understandably they're driven by, okay, am I going to be able to, is this going to be a financially stable decision, right? Am I going to lose money, or am I going to break even, right? You can't just keep doing projects that make you lose money, right? For sure. You know? And so I think all these things kind of come into play now that, make you kind of distracted, and it takes a lot of time to reflect on it. And I think those are things that, this is why I appreciate moments like this, right? Because for me, I do my best thinking out loud like this, you know? And so that's why you asked me earlier how many people have interviewed me. I mean, I'm sad. I wish more people would talk to me because, you know, I just enjoy the dialectic of talking like this. It helps me to kind of process my thoughts. And so moments like this really help me to kind of sharpen what I think about, because in the face of questions, I have to think about things, right? But by myself,
in the moment.
Yeah. And by myself, I can get super cynical. I can get super distracted. And so I definitely don't have enough of those times, and a lot of distractions for sure.
Well, it's not just you that do this though. Like, you have Lewis.
Yeah.
Share a little bit about how you guys met. So, and, like, you guys are partners. Yeah.
So Lewis Chi, who kind of helped me build momentum, came in with me, really just he is the background. He is the backbone and spine of everything that I've done. Because without him, I would not have been able to do everything I did. So a little bit about Lewis. So actually, Lewis doesn't live here. He lives in San Jose, right?
Yeah.
But we both went to college together. We both went to UC Davis as undergrads, same year, freshman. met each other freshman year. We actually met the same church, and so. But long story short, you know, we just developed a relationship together in college. And towards the end of college, you know, I started to share with him just crazy things I wanted to do. You know, he'll probably tell you about like our senior year, and
I'm interviewing that.
Yeah, you should. And like our senior year, I wanted to start a program that developed young leaders, right? So not too different from what I'm doing now, but at that time, I really wanted to like, sort of like the Boy Scouts, but for Hmong people and leadership development, like things like that, right?
Okay.
Just, you know, really leadership heavy kind of things. I really wanted to do that, and I didn't know how to do it, right? I told him about it, and so, you know, that kind of started our talks. But again, like I said, we kind of did our own things. He graduated, he moved back to the Bay Area. He works for a big, you know, tech company. He's a computer scientist, software engineer, and so, you know, he's got a great career doing that, right? That's his full-time gig, and we don't live close to each other, so we don't get to interact as often as I'd like. You know, we do have phone calls a lot, but it's not the same as something like this. Sure. You know, and he really adds a lot of support, a lot of resources, but because he works full-time and he does other things, you know, he can't be as present as much as I'd like him to be, you know, but he really has added just a lot of resources, a lot of guidance. He's heard almost all of my, you know, crazy paranoia and getting things started, you know, and really talking sense to me, and so, but yeah, he's been fantastic.
Okay, that's awesome. How long do you think that's going to go for until you guys are actually like physically meeting
that's
every
hard
week?
To say. I think that's something that,
like, that's probably like a future goal down the line.
That's something that me and him are, you know, I mean, I would love that. I think it's really, it's just the financial consideration, you know. I think he would be totally down. I mean, if we were making six figures in you know, in revenue, and we were able to do this full time, I think he would no doubt do it, you know. So it's just a matter of practical considerations, right? Of whether or not we can both do it full time. I think he would love to do it. Again, it just comes down to the practical nature.
Yeah, that makes sense. You know, unfortunately, like, it all boils down to that, right?
Yeah.
Of like the stability,
right.
of it, and so I think that's where you need to approach. Have you guys considered approaching a lot of vendors, sponsors?
Yeah, so I've been experimenting with just a lot of different revenue models, you know, over the past few years, and yeah, it's hard to say how I want to move forward. You know, it's hard because, and I think I'm the biggest reason why we haven't had consistency, because I'm always changing what I think we are. Right? I mean, there are times where
you are spontaneous.
Yeah, there are times where I want to just be a businessman. There are times where I want to be a content creator. Right? There are times where I just want to just be the sales. I just want to be the marketing. You know, so that sort of leads me to where the next stage is, that because I'm wearing so many hats, I'm doing too many things. There's no consistency. And I'm literally the cap of any growth, right? And I don't want to be the cap, right? And I know that I'm holding back any kind of growth. So the next step that I'm really focusing on is building a team and kind of specializing, you know, making sure I do what I need to do best and let other people do what they do best, right? And building a team so that, you know, we can really have a core infrastructure, and then there's a whole bunch of ways we can go about this in terms of revenue, right? But I think either one of them is good. It's just having consistency. And so that's sort of the next step for me right now, is trying to build a team of consistent people who see the vision, who can be committed, and then try to build something great together.
Yeah. Okay, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
You know, when I first heard about Hmongmentum, I thought it was pretty clever, the name.
Sure.
Because I'm like, oh, Hmongmentum, oh, Hmong, oh, okay, cool.
Right.
So who came up with that name?
So it started like this. So first came shareable moments, right? So the show, I had a Facebook page and a show that started before Hmongmentum, which is shareable moments, right? So it's Hmong moments, right?
Okay.
So it started with that pun, moments. Now I can't take credit for this. I had a friend in college. He's not Hmong at all. He's a Taiwanese buddy of mine, but he loves puns. He loves making all these sorts of word puns. And so this one day, just accidentally, I forgot how he said it, but he was like, I don't know. He just used moments in a pun. He's like, something, this is a big moment for you, or something like that. I don't know. He said
he was being cheesy.
Right. He was being cheesy, and I thought, when he first heard, I thought that's so stupid. Like, why did you just say that? You know, like that's ridiculous, right? So that happened in college, or that happened a while ago, and then I started to fast forward a little bit. I'm gonna make my show, right? I'm thinking, what am I gonna call my show? And I know I'm trying. Okay, I know every one of you are Hmong people, and I had all these different names, but I remember that Hmongments. I thought, oh, Hmongments. I thought, okay, what if I called it like professional moments or academic moments, or and I thought about shareable moments, and I told my wife, and my wife said, yeah, I like it, and I thought, okay, we'll go with it, right? So I gotta give credit to him who started the idea.
You're gonna mention his name?
I won't mention his name, but you know, because I don't know if you want to do it or not. But in any case, yeah. So I don't take credit for it. It started. He just made that thing. I took it, and then people loved it, right? People had fun with it. I thought it was fun, and just from a practical point of view, from an SEO website kind of key term kind of point of view, what I like about these weird words is no one else is using them, right? Yeah. You make up your own weird words. No one has Hmongment.com, that's mine. No one has Hmongmentum.com, that's mine, right? No, I don't have to compete with these key terms, right? Because I made up my own word, right? Like Google or or Yahoo or all these whatever, you make up your own words and you just brand yourself around it. So that was one advantage too, right? Is that it was a new word. I can kind of build my own brand around it. Then Momentum just kind of came out of pretty much that. I remember this one day I just went through a whole bunch of list of what are words that start with MO that I could turn into a pun, right? So there's Hmongmentus, there's monumental, there's motivation, right? I mean, you could have a lot of fun.
Wow.
You have a lot of fun. Just take any MO word and put Hmong in front of it. And so Hmongmentum obviously rolled off the tongue, sounded good, and it really describes what I'm trying to do. It really describes that momentum starts with action, right?
Yeah.
In physics, momentum in physics is mass times acceleration. So you need some object and you need movement, right? That's what momentum is. That's no different in life, right? You want to get something done, you have to do something, right? So Hmongmentum is all about encouraging people to act.
Hopefully you guys enjoy part 2 of this interview. Remember that this is a 4-part series that I will be releasing every Monday. So you have just got finished watching part 2. So remember to subscribe and hit that bell button so that way you guys do not miss part 3 and part 4 when I do upload them on Monday. I loved how Jonathan had this idea about momentum and he made it into a reality with his friend Lewis, where they met in college and in church. So that just gives me so much hope to know that if I have an idea that I feel passionate about, why not make it a reality like what Jonathan says? Hopefully you make your dreams a reality too and you find encouragement from watching this interview. My name is Chia and I will catch you next time. Peace out.